There is nothing more rewarding than watching a bunch of sleep-deprived, starving people having to suffer through a period in their lives where they are contractually obligated to sit down and watch Jack and Jill. Ladies and gents, internet, my name is Peridiam, and welcome to the absolute worst rewards in Survivor history. Now, I once ranked every season of Survivor by pizza, and the conclusion I drew from that dissertation was that pizza on Survivor is oftentimes more a punishment than it is a reward. And the very first glimpse of pizza on Survivor is right here. It's when Jervis wins a hard single slice of pizza in all of its 360p glory from Survivor Season 1 Borneo. Now, in the pantheon of Survivor pizza, I rank this slice pretty low, and I think it makes sense. This is not a good reward. He did win a phone call as well, but I think the pizza is going to override that. The reward bar was set ridiculously low, and it can only go up from here, right? Speaking of bars, the next horrible reward was when a single bottle of beer was offered up. Worth playing for? Behind the scenes bit of trivia, but the cast of Borneo actually said that it wasn't and they weren't going to compete, which was unfortunate because the sponsors were there on location to watch this challenge, and that wasn't going to cut it. The players decided not to compete in the challenge until the reward was increased, so the producers quickly scrambled to set up a makeshift Survivor bar on location that was entirely staged and filled with a production crew acting like locals. Kelly won the reward, was blindfolded, and was sold a bill of foods. But she did get to share a beer with Probst and watch the first 5 minutes of her season, so I guess it's not the worst thing ever.
And Richard Hatch says, basically, a beer, let's just don't do it. Let's just tell them, let's show up and say we're not going to do it. We want something else. He was holding us hostage. We have a mutiny about to happen. We have the sponsors coming to see their beer. The contestants don't want their beer. And Mark goes, I got it. Okay, this is what it is. It's a cold beer and as much spaghetti as you can eat while you watch the first 15 minutes of the show you are starring in. Quickly established what looked like a local Malaysian bar. I remember looking out at it going, if you didn't know better, you would not think anything of this.
Get it rolling.
2 buds? Thanks.
Yay!
Right on. Wow.
While the Survivor auction is beloved by many, it needs to be said that it started with humble beginnings. The very first auction in Season 2, the Australian Outback, offers up a lot of very measly rewards that are way overpriced for what you get. $60 for 4 Doritos. Amber bought 6 French fries. Someone actually paid $250 for river water. Okay, that was a covered item, but still. All of this was as bad as the picnic that Probst offered as a reward a few episodes prior, where the tribes went crazy for the thought of what a Survivor picnic would look like, only to soon learn that it was nothing but a bag of Doritos and some Mountain Dew. Really brings me back to those early 2000 Halo LAN party days. In Season 3 Africa, Lex and Ethan win a fun reward to a local village where they have to barter goats to earn some money to buy a meal. I'm not sure how that's a reward, it's a challenge within a challenge, but still. I do think the cultural aspect is really cool and rewarding. They kind of amble around town, unsure what they've gotten themselves into, until they finally find a nice buyer for the goats. Even though they kind of got attached to the goats along the way, they needed the money to buy some hard-earned food. The unfortunate part of all of this is that right after they parted from the goats, they turned around and realized what they just did. Perhaps the true reward was the goats they made along the way.
We kind of got attached to the goats on that 3.5-hour trip. I thought maybe they were going to end up in a flock and they were going to be these happy goats that kind of, cruised around the countryside eating grass and maybe mating or whatever. We saw him turn around with the 2 goats, and he made a beeline, not 20 feet away from us, straight into the butchery.
Season 7, Pearl Islands, features a double whammy in the same episode where the Drake tribe wins both a treasure map and a sewing machine. To provide some context, the sewing machine was likely a part of the theme of the season, sorta, and it did help Rupert with the pants situation he was kind of dealing with. The treasure map, however, was supposed to be a great reward, and it was a cool concept. Each tribe was given a third of their treasure map for each reward challenge that they won, and if they completed the map, they would be led to a treasure chest buried at their camp. So the Drake tribe finally finds the chest after about 10 days of it being buried, and inside the chest is a bunch of moldy food. It smelled like death. When you think about it, you do kind of wonder what the producers were thinking about this. But they did get some chocolates and a bit of alcohol.
And oh my God, a stench so awful. Smelled like death.
They're moldy. Horrible.
Everything's moldy and nasty.
They're all molded.
I mean, I think we would have ripped each other's heads off if those chocolates weren't in there, because that's how disappointed we were.
We better take a break. Everybody sit back.
Moldy beef jerky.
The blankets smell like crap. The hammock smells like crap. The mosquito net smells like crap.
The sewing machine made its return as a reward in season 10, Palau, where Oolong, one of the most losingest tribes ever, managed to win a challenge, and that is what they got. Of all the challenges that Oolong has ever won, the sewing machine was their reward. In season 9, Vanuatu, one of the rewards was a cultural trip to a local village with a feast. Now this one was a little more funny than outright terrible. It was a disappointment for the players for sure, but they tried their best to enjoy it all the while. It was customary to give a gift upon entering the village, so they brought a pig with them. Except on the flight over, the pig peed in the plane. Not great. Once they arrived at the village, Chris gave the tribe the pig, only to then get another pig in return. Chris had no idea what to do with the second pig, so he just left it. As for the feast of food, it turned out to be undercooked, unflavored meat, with a cow's head smiling at them. I will just say there is a reason this episode was titled Culture Shock. But at least Chad got to have the time of his life on kava juice.
None of us knew what to expect. People from the village looking at us, and we're looking at them, and I'm carrying a pig. They give us a pig in return, and they actually just had us lay it down by a bench where we were sitting, and we just never asked for the pig back. We didn't want the pig.
You drink the whole thing?
Yeah, whole thing, yeah.
Oh.
You just say, okay, you chug it, and then you spit out your last sip. And this bowl was enormous.
Kava is powerful. Very, very powerful.
Like, I feel sort of buzzed, but my coordination is just, whoa.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk. I wasn't coordinated.
Kava tore him up. Kava tore him up.
One of my favorite horrible rewards on season 12 Exile Island, we saw Aris, Bruce, and Sally win a breakfast in bed on the beach in Panama. Sounds like a dream. Except for one slight problem. It was pouring rain that morning and the bed was actually on the beach. It was barely covered and the entire thing was soaked. But that didn't stop the players from miserably climbing into it, eating some damp croissants, and dreaming of being dry back at camp. Speaking of being dry, season 17, Gabon, offered up a reward that'll really get your taste buds to come alive. An herb garden with salt and pepper. You can replenish your herbs throughout the season, I guess. The best part about this reward is a blink and you might miss moment. It is Bob's level of excitement for it. And the rest of the cast doing their best to tell Probst that it is in fact worth playing for. Of course, Gabon also gave us a plate full of giant cookies with a side dollop of passive aggressiveness during the auction, so really, if there's anything to take away from this video, it's that these rewards are all just a matter of perspective.
Randy offers Sugar his own cookie. She takes it and gives it to Maddie.
Yeah, would you like to repeat that?
Wow. I think it worked out the way it worked out.
I left the auction broke, full, half drunk, and pissed off. I got a little room left for one big cookie, so I'm gonna burn this house down in the next day or so.
But then the creme de la creme of terrible survivor rewards comes in the way of sponsored bullcrap. Product placements, advertisements, a cinema in the South Pacific of season 23 where the Upolu tribe won a reward to watch the hit Adam Sandler movie Jack and Jill, with some candy on the side. It was a riot. Sophie gave it a hoot and a half. Post-season, Albert told us that the producers had them laugh on cue. And I don't know what Coach was thinking or smoking, but if there was ever a point where he lost this season, it was right here.
It was good because it was funny, but at the same time, there was a message, and the message was, hey, we have to be uncompromisable as a unit, unbreakable. That's what our tribe is. And now we're ready to play the second half of this game.
Also in the same season, as a reward for an immunity challenge win, the players would win some food alongside being safe. Okay, sounds like a fairly good deal. What's the catch? Except the challenge involved the players collecting meat, and whichever tribe collected the most meat would win. And part of the reward that they were winning was the heap of meat they pulled apart with their mouths in the challenge. I'm gonna vomit. By far, the worst emotionally manipulative reward is from season 26, Caramoan, where Brenda won the Loved Ones Challenge and got to spend time with her loved one. She also got to pick another player to spend time with their loved one too. However, then Jeff revealed that if she gave up hers and her selected player's loved one's visit, the rest of the cast would get to see their loved ones instead. And to make it even worse, to just double down on the pain, 2 loved ones were brought to the island for each player, meaning Brenda really had no choice what to do here. And she hated it here. Although on a more serious note, on season 32, Korong, we saw several players suffer heat strokes, and one player, Caleb, was medically evacuated from the game after being subjected to an overwhelming amount of time in the sun digging in the sand. Him and Debbie and Sydney's bodies overheated, and he had to be airlifted to the nearest hospital for treatment. So what exactly was he fighting for to win in this challenge? Yep, they're back. Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. Going back to the start of this video, I talked about the pizza on Survivor, and it's only fair that I bookend this train wreck with a similar treat. Instead of one lousy slice of pizza, how about an entire mountain of them? Pizza Mountain. If I lower my standards enough, I could eat that. But given I've heard firsthand how bad Survivor pizza is, I imagine this is actually even worse than it looks. No care was put into this presentation. It's leftovers from the production crew from the night before. I'm surprised we didn't have a medevac in this episode. And to bring this topic to today, as of this video with Survivor 41, I did get a laugh out of that fish that Yase won earlier in the season. It's just laying there. It's just a fish. A whole ass fish. That's like Ozzy's efforts on his worst day. And I didn't include International Survivor, but I gotta give a shout out to Survivor Israel for having Rupert be a reward. Yes, you heard that right. Rupert. Hacking his way through the bushes, building you a sand bunker for no good reason. He's not Tata the Bushman or Nathan from Fiji, but I guess there could be worse players to help you out.
Yeah, no way, no way. I'll never be able to get such a straight up and down tree.
I don't know why. I don't know why I couldn't spark that fire. It's not as easy as you remember.
In the end, those are the absolute worst rewards in Survivor history. I can't wait to see what new lows we reach in the future. If there are any other terrible rewards I may have missed, feel free to let me know. A huge thank you to my patrons on the screen for attending film night. We watched Gulliver's Travels. It was a movie. That is a complete sentence. I hope you all enjoyed this video more than whatever Survivor tortures us with next.
Jackpot.
And don't forget to split your Snickers 9 ways to Sunday on your way out. And I will see you in the next one once I come to terms with the fact that, hey, at least whatever we just won can't be worse than a breath mint from Nalia or a melted bag of chocolate.
All I have left to share is this mint that I shoved in my mouth really fast. So if everybody wants to take a little nibble. Oh, I'm okay, sweetheart. No, you guys, it's good. It's a little hardtack mint. I don't want it.
You're offering 7 starving adults a piece of candy out of your mouth. Keep your mint candy, man. You know, that's like saying, anybody wanted this piece of doo-doo?
Want to know what's up for grabs?
Yeah.
5 chocolate bars for the winning tribe.
That would be like an Exeter.
Yeah, mate.
I'm going to try that chocolate bar. Really excited about the chocolate when it was handed to me, but by the time we got it, it was soup. That was a bit disappointing.
The chocolate was pretty life-changing. It was out of this world. I didn't count on it tasting that good.
We ate the chocolate and we were all close to tears. It was like a huge shock to the taste buds, to mouth, throat, stomach, the head, everything. It was like zinning. It was just great. Beautiful.